You learn it early, earlier than you should. You learn that love isn't something freely given. It's something you earn by being less. Less loud, less needy, less childlike. You learn that safety isn't guaranteed. So you build it yourself with tiny hands that weren't meant to carry that weight. You become the one who notices everything. The shift in tone, the tightness in someone's jaw, the way the air changes right before everything falls apart. And you adjust, you shrink, you soothe, you fix. Not because you want to, but because some part of you knows that if you don't, the whole thing might collapse. And somehow, without anyone ever saying it out loud, you become responsible for keeping everyone okay, even though you're just a kid. This is where it starts, in the quiet moments when you realize the adults around you aren't actually handling things. They're unraveling, maybe slowly, maybe all at once. And you, with your small heart and your big eyes, you step in. Not because you're brave, because you're terrified. Terrified of what happens if you don't. So you become the mediator, the emotional sponge, the one who apologizes first, even when you didn't do anything wrong. You become the child who doesn't cry because crying makes things worse. You become the one who smiles when guests come over, even though 30 minutes ago the house was a war zone. You learn to perform stability, and everyone believes it. Sometimes even you. But here's the thing nobody tells you. When you grow up like that, something inside you breaks. Quietly. Like a bone that heals wrong because no one ever noticed it was fractured. And you carry that break into everything, into every friendship, every relationship, every job, every moment where you should feel safe, but don't. Because safety was never your default. Chaos was. And now, even in the stillness, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Now, let's talk about what actually happens in the brain of a child who grows up too fast. You see, this isn't just an emotional problem, it's neurological. When a kid is repeatedly put in situations where they have to manage adult-level stress, where they have to regulate not just their own emotions, but everyone else's too, their nervous system adapts. It learns that the world is unpredictable, that people are unreliable, that the only person you can count on is yourself. So it stays on high alert, always. This is called hypervigilance, and it doesn't just go away when you turn 18. It becomes your operating system. You walk into a room and immediately scan it. Who's upset? Who needs something? What's the vibe? Can I relax or do I need to perform? You do this so automatically, you don't even realize you're doing it. It's exhausting, but also the only way you know how to exist. Because rest feels dangerous. Letting your guard down feels like inviting disaster. So you stay ready, you stay useful, needed. Because somewhere along the way, you learn that your worth is tied to what you can do for others. Not who you are, but what you provide. And the cruel irony, the world rewards you for it. Teachers love you, bosses promote you, friends lean on you. You're so responsible, so mature for your age, so dependable. But nobody ever asks why. Nobody ever wonders what it cost you to become that way. Because from the outside, you look fine, better than fine. You look like you have it all together, even though inside you're holding your breath. Inside, you're a kid who never got to be a kid. And that kid is still in there, waiting, hoping, wondering if anyone will ever notice that you're not okay, that you've never been okay, that you've just gotten really, really good at pretending. Here's where it gets complicated. The role you played, the caretaker, the fixer, the strong one, it wasn't just something you did. It became who you are. Your identity got built around it. So now, even when you're in healthy situations, even when people aren't asking you to carry them, you do it anyway. Because you don't know how not to. You don't know how to just be, how to exist without a purpose, without a problem to solve, without someone to save. And when there's no crisis, you feel empty, purposeless, like you're failing at something you can't even name. This is the trap. The thing that saved you as a child becomes the thing that suffocates you as an adult. You become hyper-independent. You refuse help even when you desperately need it. You push people away before they can get too close because closeness feels like vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like death. You sabotage good things because good things don't feel real. They feel like a setup. Like any second now, it's all gonna fall apart. So why even bother hoping? You'd rather burn it down yourself than wait for it to burn you. And in relationships, God, in relationships, this plays out in the most painful ways. You attract people who need fixing, not because you are broken, but because your nervous system is wired to familiar patterns. And familiar for you is chaos. It's someone who's emotionally unavailable, someone who takes more than they give, someone who makes you work for breadcrumbs of affection. Because that's what love looked like when you were small, conditional, earned, never quite enough. So you recreate it over and over, and you call it bad luck. But it's not luck, it's programming. Or maybe you go the other direction. Maybe you find someone healthy, someone stable, someone who actually shows up. And it terrifies you because you don't know what to do with someone who doesn't need you to save them. You don't know how to be loved just for existing. So you create problems. You test them. You push and pull and self-destruct because at least that feels like something you understand. At least that feels like control. But here's what's really happening underneath all of that. You're not afraid to love. You're afraid of being seen. Because being seen means being vulnerable. And being vulnerable means risking the thing you've spent your entire life avoiding. Abandonment. Rejection. The confirmation that you're too much, or not enough, or both at the same time. So you stay hidden, you stay helpful, you stay strong. And you wonder why you feel so alone even when you're surrounded by people. Let's get into the body for a second, because this isn't just in your head. It's in your muscles, your gut, your chest. Children who grow up in unstable environments often develop something called a dysregulated nervous system. That means your body never learned what true safety feels like. Even when you're objectively safe, your body doesn't believe it. Your heart races for no reason. Your stomach churns. You feel this low-level anxiety humming in the background of everything. And you've felt it for so long, you think it's just who you are. But it's not. It's what happened to you. Your body is still stuck in survival mode, still braced for impact, still waiting for the next bad thing. And because of that, you might struggle with things like chronic fatigue, insomnia, digestive issues, unexplained pain. Your body is holding all that stress you never got to release. All the tears you swallowed, all the screams you silenced. And it's trying to tell you something. It's trying to say, we're not okay. We haven't been okay. And we need to stop pretending. Now let's talk about the grief. When you grow up too fast, you don't just lose your childhood. You lose the belief that you deserved one. You tell yourself it wasn't that bad. Other people had it worse. You turned out fine. But fine is a lie you tell yourself to survive. Fine is what you say when you don't have the language or the safety to say, "I'm drowning." And the truth is, you didn't turn out fine. You turned out functional. You turned out capable, but you also turned out lonely, disconnected, exhausted, and terrified that if you stop moving, stop achieving, stop being useful, you'll finally have to feel everything you've been running from. So what do? You keep running. You fill your life with work, with people, with noise, anything to avoid the silence. Because in the silence, you can hear it. That small voice. The one that sounds like you did when you were 7. And it's asking the question you've been avoiding your whole life. Why didn't anyone protect me? And you don't have an answer. So you bury it again. You scroll, you drink, you work, you date the wrong person, you start another project, anything but sitting with that question. But here's the thing about buried pain. It doesn't stay buried. Eventually, it leaks out. In your relationships, in your self-sabotage, in the way you can't accept a compliment, in the way you flinch when someone gets too close, in the way you feel guilty for resting, for wanting, for needing. It leaks out in the way you apologize for existing. And until you turn around and face it, until you actually let yourself feel it, you'll keep repeating the same patterns. Different people, different cities, same story. Healing doesn't start with fixing. It starts with looking at that child you were and saying, "You didn't deserve that." Not out loud to a therapist, though that helps, but to yourself, in the quiet, in the mirror, in the moments when you're tempted to minimize or rationalize or excuse what happened. You stop and you tell the truth. I was a child, and I deserved to be protected. And I wasn't. And that wasn't my fault. That's the beginning, not the end. The beginning. Once you stop pretending, you have to start grieving. And grief is ugly. It's loud. It's inconvenient. It doesn't fit into your schedule or your image or your idea of who you're supposed to be. But it's necessary, because you can't heal what you won't feel, and you can't feel what you won't acknowledge. So, you'll let yourself cry, ugly tears, the kind that make your face splotchy and your chest hurt. You let yourself rage at the people who failed you, at the system that ignored you, at the world that praised you for your pain and called it maturity. You let yourself feel all of it, not because it changes the past, but because it changes you. It softens you. It cracks you open, and in that cracking, something new can finally grow. One of the hardest parts of this whole thing is learning to receive. When you've spent your whole life giving, when your entire identity is built around being the strong one, letting someone help you feels like failure. It feels weak. It feels like you're burdening them. So you say no. You say you've got it, even when you don't. Because asking for help means admitting you're human. And you've spent so long being superhuman that you don't know how to be anything else. But here's what you need to understand. Receiving isn't a weakness. It's the only way to build a real connection. People can't love a performance. They can only love a person. And if you never let them see the person, if you only ever show them the role, you'll always feel alone, even when you're physically not. Learning to set boundaries is another massive piece of this. When you grew up without them, when your needs were always secondary, when saying no meant conflict or rejection or punishment, you learn to say yes to everything. Yes to plans you don't want. Yes to people who drain you. Yes to responsibilities that aren't yours. And you do it with a smile, because that's what you were trained to do. But every time you say yes when you mean no, you abandon yourself. You prioritize their comfort over your own. And you reinforce the belief that your needs don't matter. So you have to start small. You start saying no to little things. And you sit with the discomfort, the guilt, the fear that they'll be mad or disappointed or leave. And sometimes they are, sometimes they do. And that's information. That's them showing you that they only valued you for what you could give them, not who you are. And as much as that hurts, it's also freedom. Because now you know, and you can stop wasting your energy on people who were never really for you. Here's something else that happens when you grow up too fast. You lose touch with play, with joy, with the things that make life worth living. Because when survival is your baseline, pleasure feels frivolous, unnecessary, even dangerous. So you stay serious, you stay productive, you stay in control, and you forget what it feels like to laugh until your stomach hurts, to do something just because it's fun, to exist without a purpose. Reconnecting with that part of yourself, the playful part, the curious part, the part that isn't performing or achieving or fixing, that's healing too. It's letting your inner child come out and just be. Maybe that looks like dancing in your kitchen. Maybe it's coloring. Maybe it's rewatching a show you loved as a kid. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you're doing it for no reason other than it brings you joy. Not because it's productive, not because it makes you better, just because. And that's revolutionary. That's how you say, I matter. My joy matters. My inner child matters. And remember, maybe some days you're going to slip back into old patterns. But one day, maybe years from now, you'll look back and realize you're not that scared kid anymore. And for the first time in your life, you'll be free. If you're the child that grew up fast, share your healing process in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to learn more about human psychology. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.